In a small coastal town where the wind never seemed to rest, there lived an old kite maker named Henry. For 40 years, he had built kites from bamboo and paper, and every child in town had flown one of his creations at least once. Henry had a grandson named Sam, 12 years old, quiet, and endlessly frustrated. More than anything, Sam wanted to build a kite that could fly higher than any kite the town had ever seen. He knew how to cut the bamboo. He knew how to stretch the paper. But every kite he built crashed. "It's the wind," Sam would say, throwing the broken kite down. "It pushes against everything I build. If it would just be still for one day, I know I could get it right." His grandfather would only nod and say nothing. One evening, after his 5th kite of the week split against the rocks, Sam sat on the cliffside, arms around his knees. He had started to believe something painful. Maybe he simply wasn't good enough. Henry sat beside him.
"Why does the wind hate me?" Sam asked.
Henry smiled and pulled a small, plain kite from his bag. "Tomorrow, there will be no wind at all. Meet me here at sunrise and bring this kite." The next morning, just as promised, the air was completely still. Not a leaf moved. "Fly it," Henry said. Sam ran along the cliff top, the kite trailing behind him, exactly the way he'd run 100 times before. But nothing happened. The kite dragged behind him like dead weight. He ran faster. He lifted his arm higher. It never left the ground. "I don't understand," Sam said, breathing hard. "No wind, nothing to fight against, and it still won't fly." Henry picked up the fallen kite and turned it gently in his hands. "My boy, you've spent your whole life believing the wind was your enemy. But look around you. On the calmest day of the year, with nothing pushing against you at all, your kite couldn't rise 1 foot off the ground." Something shifted behind Sam's eyes. "It's not the wind that lifts a kite," Henry said. "It's the resistance. A kite doesn't fly because the air is gentle with it. It flies because it leans into the force pushing against it and uses that force to climb. Every gust that seems like it's trying to knock your kite down is the only thing capable of lifting it higher. Without resistance, there is no flight. There never has been." "Then why did my other kites crash, even on windy days?" Sam asked. "Because you were angry at the wind instead of listening to it," Henry said. "You held your kite stiff, fighting every gust head on. A kite that fights the wind directly gets torn apart. A kite that turns just slightly to meet it rises higher than anyone standing on the ground could imagine." That evening, the wind returned, as it always did. Sam built a new kite, but this time he didn't design it to resist the wind. He designed it to meet the wind at an angle, to bend without breaking. The next morning, when the wind rose off the sea, Sam ran along the cliff and let the kite go. It didn't wobble. It didn't fall. It climbed higher than any kite the town had ever seen, because this time he wasn't fighting the wind. He was flying with it. Friend, if you take one thing from Sam's story, let it be this. So here's the moral of Sam's story. Nothing in this world was ever built to fly on a still day. The wind you're cursing right now, It's the only thing with enough force to lift you higher than you could ever climb on your own. Stop asking it to stop. Start learning the angle that turns it into lift. If this story gave you something to carry with you today, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so the next story finds you when you need it. Like this video if Sam's story stayed with you, and tell me in the comment. And if someone you know is fighting the wind right now, instead of flying with it, share this video with them. It might be exactly what they need to hear today.